Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. It's so nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
You have a cool studio.
Thanks. Yeah, I just refurbished it. I do a lot of recordings here, so works well. I like
That's
it.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, if it's okay, we're just gonna get right to it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so tell me, how did you first discover hypnotherapy? Because I would love to introduce this amazing form of healing to my listeners and specifically to moms.
Yeah, it was a long journey. I
Yeah.
started out with entertainment, actually. Yeah, I saw a hypnosis show, and I didn't think it was real. And then so I was, learning different things about it, trying to find out what is really going on with hypnosis. And I discovered it's real.
Yeah.
So I dove more into it and learned about it, and I became a comedy stage hypnotist. So it hypnotized 20, 30 people at a time. And then eventually people would come up to me. They say, can you help me stop smoking, lose weight, stress, all sorts of good stuff. So then I learned how to record audio programs, hence my studio, record audio programs, and I would sell them at the back, at the end of my shows. And then people would come to me one-on-one. They're like, we like the audio, but can you work with me one-on-one? I'm like,
Wow.
okay. You come to my house, I go to your house. That wasn't working out. So I'm like, I need to learn a little bit more about that. So that drove me down an additional learning path of how to do change work with hypnotherapy. There's a few different concepts and principles out there, and I was able to lock in on something that I'm like, you know what? This is real, and I can help people. And just seeing those results, really manifested my learning more and more about how hypnotherapy works.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I would imagine that you had to kind of go down a little bit of a rabbit hole to kind of learn about the subconscious, because that's what it is. It's learning about the subconscious and how to tap into that part.
Yes, absolutely.
What did you learn while you were discovering this form of healing?
Well, at the beginning of hypnosis in my career, I would be really caught up in discovering, are people really in a trance state?
Mm-hmm.
Do they hear me? What's going through their mind? And then I essentially realized it's the person that allows the information to go in there. So hypnosis is not a matter of it working or not working. It's whether or not you allow the suggestions that you're looking for to go in. And the hypnosis is a tool to relax our conscious mind, bypass all that negativity and thinking.
So just to be clear, you do not receive any information when you're helping somebody go into the state.
What do you mean, receive information?
I know that there's this misunderstanding that when you go to hypnotherapy, the hypnotist, the person who is helping you get to that part of yourself, is supposed to be kind of receiving some sort of information about the subconscious of that person, and you're saying that that the person is receiving. The person who's under hypnosis is the one who's receiving the information.
Well, they're accessing their own
own
information in there. Any information that I receive is through the individual telling me what is going on. So I don't tap into their mind and read their minds.
Do you have any myths or misconceptions that people have about hypnosis?
Oh yeah, a lot.
So many, right?
Every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, like, well, I don't know if I can't be hypnotized. That's one of the big things that I get all the time, and that's not true, because hypnosis is a natural state we go through it every single day. And I'll give you an example. Perhaps you're driving down the highway. You're thinking about the past. Now, most of us, we think in imagery. We think in pictures. So you're thinking about last week, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You lock into something, and bam, you're 10 miles down the road. You're like, whoa, how did I get here?
Yeah.
You go home, you're like, did I turn at that stoplight? So they call that highway hypnosis. So it's a natural state that we take ourselves in. It's sort of like an enhanced daydream. So there are two main reasons why people cannot be hypnotized. And one of them is if you have an IQ of less than 40, you really can't be hypnotized because you're not able to literally follow instructions. That is one thing. And number two, you don't want to. Because you have to allow yourself to want to get into that relaxed state to get where you want to be. And I see that a lot of times in my shows where I'll have 20 people up on stage and I say, close your eyes, relax your left arm. And people are looking at me, with one eye open. It's like, they're like, what am I going to miss? So they'd rather watch the show than be the show. And the same thing when I work one-on-one with clients is don't worry about going into hypnosis because if you think about it, it's not going to happen. It's sort of like sleep. So if you just listen to what I'm saying, we'll get you to the nice, relaxed spot. And you know what? Your conscious mind's going to increase 200-300%. You're going to hear the train 5 miles away. You're going to be able to hear my voice. You're not knocked out. You're not unconscious. You're not sleeping. You listen, and you just are more aware of your subconscious. And we bypass. We call it the critical factor. We bypass our critical thinking, where we take information in there and we filter it. We filter it, 4 different ways generally. One, it's you accept it and you love it. You go right in. Then you have negativity where you're not on board. You're like, well, no, I don't like spinach. So then you put that block in there, and that I can't go past blocks if you don't want it. So you have to be a willing participant in most cases to be hypnotized.
Yeah. And I think you do a fantastic job of preparing us like the hour before even going into hypnosis. It really is. For me, at least, it really did get me in the vibe, going into it. I would assume a lot of people are a little bit nervous and a lot of them are in their heads. I know that I was, but those 40 minutes that we took before even doing anything, just relaxing and feeling ourselves inside our bodies and kind of clearing our minds with the exercises that you help us do before going into hypnosis. That was so crucial to being able to be comfortable opening that door.
Yes, it's very important because I'll tell you, 99% of the people out there have never experienced hypnosis on a focused level. So I think it's important to say, okay, this is what it is, this is what it isn't, and this is how it can help you. And that's a real important part of the process.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about how does hypnosis help the brain and the nervous system, and how are you able to help people with addiction and who have anxiety and depression who are not able to tap into that part of themselves with a conscious mind, like through therapy, for instance?
Yeah, there's a lot going on with the mind. They've done some PET scans where they've measured, brain waves, and they discovered that things that are real to you, things that are imagined to you, are often responded to in the same way. And that's really amazing, because a lot of people have these fears and their body responds to it in a real fight or flight way to do that. And they've discovered as well the brain is more more plasticity than they ever imagined. Previous thinking was, okay, you grow, it's in your mind, you're stuck this way, nothing's going to change because it's ingrained. But they're discovering you can train your brain and relearn different things. And as long as you have that positivity and you want to do that, you're able to do that. So hypnosis essentially is relaxing our conscious mind, which opens up a window through our critical factor, our negative thinking. It's like a firewall, I like to say. It's like a firewall to our system. Yeah. So now you're in your hard drive, and you program information that you do want. So I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor, so I don't work with those specific issues they would be more suited for. I work on client-focused change work. So I don't come to you and say, this is what I think you need. Yeah. This is what your fears are. This is what's going on. I don't diagnose. I don't treat. The client, you tell me, what do you want to work on? And that's what we do. So it's client-driven change work.
Yeah.
And then I'm just the tour guide to get you into that trance state. And essentially, I like to call it energy. Everything's energy to me. I don't like to deal with labels. People tell me they got PTSD and OCD and all this. I'm like, what? It's all, it's harder to get over these labels. It's just all, I call it energy. You can call it stress. So we have this energy that flows through our system. At some point in our lives, now the experts say between ages 1 and 13, which I believe to be fairly accurate with the amount of people I've worked with, even in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, there's an energy disruption, per se, and then we don't flow as well as we should, and our buckets begin to fill. At some point in our lives, our buckets overspill. At that point, we get stressed, we get anxious, we smoke, we drink, we overeat, we lose our confidence, we develop fears, phobias, we bite our nails, we pull our hair, we have fear of driving, fear of flying. And so that's where I take that energy into a session, and I don't, be a little bit of, I don't need to know exactly what's going on. It's not about reliving any trauma or things, but it's amazing. Sometimes people will feel this energy in them, and we're in a deep trance state. You'll go where you need to go, what's hanging you up. I mean, I could spend 600 hours in talk therapy and try and get it out of you. It's not going to happen. Right. I can do this very efficiently in under an hour, where you follow your feeling. It'll take you, boom, where are you? Oh, I was in the 4th grade. The teacher called my name. I felt embarrassed. I had all these different things.
And it really is that clear. That's how clear it was for me. And I was mind blown, like literally mind blown.
and you're able to uncover it. And sometimes that might be the issue. Sometimes it may not be. And it doesn't matter. The key thing is where you think something might have happened, or something, and it doesn't have to be trauma. I was left alone in my room, and my mom was, she was cooking dinner. She didn't leave you. And then there's times where the mother left and they were alone. So there's different things out there. And then there's techniques that I use in hypnosis to relieve that. I like to call it release that information. Let it go. And then rebuild, how do you want to feel? You want to feel safe. You want to feel confident, increase your self-esteem, and all these different things that people really want but don't know how to articulate it. It's funny, when I ask people, what do you want out of hypnosis? Well, I don't want to be stressed. I don't want to be panicked. I'm like, no, what do you want? I don't want to feel stressed. I don't want to feel panic. I don't want to feel... I'm like, no, what do you want? And then they have to stop and think. They're like, huh. I'm like, how would you feel if you were able to let that go? And they're like, happy. There we go. You want to be happy. How's that going to make you feel? Calm. Okay, so you want to feel calm. Right. What's that going to do with your self-esteem? All right, so we need to work on self-esteem. Mm-hmm. So what you're really looking for is to be happy, calm, increase your self-esteem. You're not worried about, I don't want to be stressed. People focus more on what they don't want.
Mm-hmm.
And they're never able to accomplish what they do want because they're always focusing on the negativity. Mm-hmm. And you have to focus on where you want to be. Mm-hmm. We live in three places. We live in the past. I find most people that live in the past are sad and depressed. They're constantly reliving the past. Mm-hmm. Why? Then you get people that live in the future. They're stressed and anxious. What's going to happen at work? What's going to happen with this relationship? You know, all these different things. So you have people that are sad, you have people that are stressed, and then people in the middle focusing on where they want to be. Mm-hmm. I want to be calm. I want to be happy. I want to be relaxed. And that's what you focus on. I mean, if you want to sit here and talk to me about it, you know, I don't want to talk to you. I mean, I do, but I mean, that's not my job. You can go see a talk therapist. That's what they do. They can sit there and you can go talk to them for 10 hours a day.
Right.
You know, which is a great healing tool for a lot of people. It really is.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to tell people to take medication. I'm not going to tell people to stop medication. I mean, that's not my place to be.
Right.
I'm here to help you with what do you want to accomplish? Where do you want to be? And then with hypnosis, we're able to program that information in there and continue to layer it in. And it's highly efficient.
Yeah, very efficient.
I think we're able to clear out, relayer, and get you on your road within a couple sessions.
It was nuts. I mean, within one session for me. I just want to tell everybody like my experience with you because it really truly changed my life completely.
I'm so glad.
So I had come to see you because I had a traumatic experience happen last June where we had some robbers come into my house. They stole my car and they were close to my kids' rooms. And a month, 2 months passed by and I still wasn't able to get over this feeling. And I started having these panic attacks and my anxiety was through the roof and, you know, all of this energy that just didn't belong to me. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know where it was coming from and why it was affecting me so hard. And it is a terrible thing that happened, but I was not able to move past it. And like you said, I was going to therapy, talking in circles and circles and circles every week about this experience and not getting anywhere. And then I hit rock bottom. My body started to scream for help. I started to have major health issues that nobody could give me any answers to. And I basically got to a point where I was like, I will try anything to try and find myself again, to find peace, to feel safe, because I feel so unsafe in my house, with my family. I'm scared for my kids' future. I'm scared for myself, and I was also living in the past. But I just felt like there was something. Like I've felt this feeling before so many times in my life, but I couldn't really tap into it. So my mom was amazing, and she said, you know, maybe you should try hypnotherapy. That helped her. She had a lot of phobias that she was able to heal and move on from through hypnotherapy. So I said, yeah, I'm going to find someone. And sure enough, I came across you, Brian, and it was amazing. Your office is just 20 minutes from my house. And I said, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this. I'm going to get the the 3-session package because I want to go all in. And I honestly was really desperate. I really, really wanted to believe and know that there was somebody out there who could help me, guide me to find out what was happening internally for me.
Right.
I knew this was so far out of my reach because I had already tried everything. I had been on medication before. I've been going to therapy since I was 13 years old. And, I tried everything already and nothing was working for me. So, within our first session,
I'm so
I
glad to hear
walked out
that.
of there. I felt like I was floating.
Mm-hmm.
I sat in my car for 30 minutes in your parking lot because I felt like somebody had just taken out so many pounds off of my shoulders because I found the root, and we just kept going back and back and back to so many moments in my life that I had felt unsafe and unprotected. And it took me all the way back to the womb because that was the first and only time that I really felt safe, that I felt protected in my mother's stomach and in the womb. And the first time in my life that I felt unprotected and unsafe and violated was when I was born. So it all just, God, my goodness. And I could not believe that in just one session, I went all the way back there and I found the reason as to why I was feeling this way. And the next day I woke up, I didn't have a single panic attack. My stomach issues very slowly started to go away. The dissociative disorder these episodes I was having, gone. And I could not wait until my second session because I just felt so just at peace. I started sleeping better again. I was a better mother. I wasn't worried all the time. I went back to sleeping in my own room because I had been sleeping in the living room because I was so scared from the people coming into our house. I wanted to sleep outside of my kids' rooms. I finally felt safe.
Right.
I finally felt protected. And all I needed to do was to just find that feeling within myself
Yeah.
through,
You made that happen. You
yeah.
created your own path. And you wanted that path. That's why it worked.
Yeah.
Because you went back to where that internal feeling was. And we cleared out that negativity and program how you do want to feel. And you allowed that programming to go in and make that change.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
me.
And a lot
You
of
did.
it was taking away that fight or flight that I didn't even know I was living every single day with fight or flight, surviving. And looking back at my life like that, kind of like a reverse movie during hypnotherapy, just these clear images of all these moments in my life that I had felt alone and unprotected. It just, I don't know, it just clicked. It just clicked for me that I didn't need to feel that way anymore, that my
That's
my
right.
present and my future didn't have space for that.
That's right.
It was phenomenal. It really, really was. And it
so-
opened me up to a world that I didn't even know existed. Tapping into the subconscious through hypnotherapy led me to meditation, which is something I've always wanted to do, but I always thought like, I can't just sit there in silence. And now I can tap into that part of myself on my own to help myself
Yeah, positive programming.
heal. Yeah, yeah. And now I'm so aware of that energy that you're talking about. I'm so aware of energy that doesn't belong to me, and that I
Right.
can find ways to release that.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
amazing.
And a lot of people that live in the past, um, they have to move forward through forgiveness
Yeah.
and not live in the past. That serves you no good to live in the past. We learn from it, we move from it, we get terrified from it. But you deserve more than that. You deserve to be happy and increase your
Yeah.
confidence and self-esteem. And that's what you have to focus on. Focus on where you want to be, not behind your shoulder. You don't have to look ahead, what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next year, next month. You focus
Yeah.
on where you want to be right now.
Can you tell me why? I guess it's why you would feel it's important for mothers to tap into the subconscious, because I feel like a lot of that energy really started to pile up after I had my kids.
There's a lot of attention that goes towards the kids. And to a certain extent, I think a lot of mothers lose their self-esteem and their own confidence and their own identity and who they are. And I think that's real important when you chunk down everything, all the different issues that I have, helped people resolve. At the core of it, it's self-esteem, how you treat yourself, how you love yourself. You have to love yourself. Allow that confidence. It doesn't matter what other people say, do, or think about you. And that's what I see a lot of. A lot of people worried about what their mother thinks, what their neighbor thinks, what their friends think, what their kids' parents think. And it really messes with your mind. And if you can be like, I'm good. I know who I am. I love myself. And I'm the mother. And this is my child. And I'm going to give them confidence and love. And don't let anybody take that away from you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I work a lot on that with the hidden hues of motherhood, and hopefully soon I'll be starting one-on-one coaching on helping mothers really find that self-love and find those pieces.
And do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Do what makes you happy. What you want to have always been waiting to do. Wanting the thing in the back of your head that says, wow, let me see if I can help people. Let me start a garden. Let me read books at a library. There's so many things out there people are so good at, or things they want to do.
Yeah.
And tap into your own happiness.
Yeah. A lot of that helped me tap into my inner child. Tapping into my inner child and going back in the hypnosis sessions with you, having these memories that I didn't even know I had still in there.
Oh yeah, they're there.
From my childhood. A lot of them scary memories, but a lot of them were really good ones that I said, wow, like I haven't thought about that in a long time. And I've noticed I've kind of put that into like my day-to-day now, like tapping into my inner child and talking to her and saying, hey, what does she want to do today? Like, do you want to read? Do you want to sit down and read? Or what would she want to do? Go outside barefoot? Just kind of tapping into that inner child has helped me ground myself.
Nice.
And that's something I learned from the hypnotherapy, that the person I am today I'm not just this mother, I'm not just this woman. I've played so many roles in my life, and it's okay to hold space for those roles, for those chapters that I was before. And it doesn't just have to be the traumatic moments, the things that wounded me. It can be the happy moments as well. I have some questions that some people had wanted to know. Some people are asking if they're going to be able to remember everything that happens or that they tap into during their sessions.
If they want to. A lot of people will emerge and they'll have a vivid memory of what occurred during the session. They're like, wow, I never thought about that, or I didn't think that really affected me. Some people may have a path or an end location or event that they think occurred, and a lot of times they never go there because that's really not the issue. That's their imagined issue.
Yeah.
And that holds a lot of people up as well. Imagined issues.
Yeah, because I think that's one of the questions I had going into it was I going to be able to tap into repressed memories that I had blocked out. But I think in that moment I wanted to find whatever it was that was holding me back.
Right.
So
and you will go where you need to go. And often that's different than what your original goal is. Sometimes it is, but oftentimes it's not, because when you're in a trance state, you'll instantly go where that disruption is, what's holding you up, and you just cut through all the BS and go straight to what is affecting your life.
Yeah.
And it may or may not be what you think it is. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, and I think that's why the 3 sessions really helped, because after I did my 1 session, I had these other questions or other things that kind of came up, and I said, oh, okay. And I would take notes after my sessions with you, and I said, okay, going into the next session, I think this is what I kind of want to unravel a little bit or dissect a little bit.
Right.
So those 3 sessions were perfect, because I felt like by the 3rd session I didn't have any unanswered questions, I guess. And by the 3rd session I honestly felt like very comfortable tapping into that part of myself where I could do it through meditation, through Reiki and other forms. So it was really cool having the 3 sessions. At least for me, it was very, very helpful.
Thank you.
And somebody had asked me if we were gonna, how soon do people start to notice a change? And I think it really depends on the person, right? Because for me, it was immediate. It was the second I walked out of your office.
Yeah. Yes, that is often the case, almost immediate. And then some people it takes a few sessions. Some people aren't ready, and they put that block up there for them.
Brian, would you mind telling me a little bit about the services that you are able to offer to people? What do your packages look like? How does your sessions look like?
Yeah, so generally I categorize things into hypnotherapy, change work, where people have things that are bothering them, they're not sure. There's people that specifically are looking for confidence. A lot of people that have trouble getting in front of people, in person or on the web. I've had clients that get in front of 500,000 people, like 5,000 people on a web call.
Like stage fright.
Yeah, stage fright, confidence, sales. I have people with fears and phobias that are unable to get in the car or the highway or over a bridge or get on airplanes, work with that. Essentially, the first appointment is a 90-minute to 2-hour. The first hour, we review what your goals are. What do you want this to accomplish? And then I explain hypnosis, how it works, why it works, dispel a lot of misconceptions about hypnosis, like, you're going to control me. I'm too strong-minded to be hypnotized. It's like, well, you have to be strong-minded to allow yourself to be hypnotized. And then I block out an hour for a deep trance session, and it's generally 45 minutes to a solid hour, if not more. And I'll tell you, the first session outline is generally, number one, getting you into the hypnotic state. Most people I work with have never been into a trance state, so they're really thinking about it while it's going on. So there's a process that I go through where by the time I'm done, you're done. You're in hypnosis.
Yeah.
You're catching flies.
Yeah.
But you still hear me. And then and then I like to go back and follow that energy and go through processes of releasing negative information that's holding up your energy flow. And then begin to program the results that you do want. And I'll tell you, that's the same for hypnotherapy, confidence, stress, fears, phobias. You have to clear out that negative energy and then program how you do want to feel. And so that takes up a good chunk of the first appointment. And then the second appointment, I used additional techniques I like this. The first part of the session is, getting you into the hypnotic trance state. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, just the induction, we call it. And I use different types of inductions for each session, sort of like you don't know what's going on, so it's not like the same thing where you're like, oh, here it comes. No, each session is different. And then I go through different techniques of releasing information in different ways. I like to use a lot of visual things. Put people on a beach and imagine this and imagine that, and then when you're thinking about it, you're getting out of your critical thinking and getting into that trance state, and then using additional methods to release negativity that still may be lingering, and spend a great deal more time programming what you want. And then the third session is essentially the same thing, and I give tools as well. There's different tools that'll give somebody to help them instantly recall confidence and stress, to melt away anxiety. And so there's so many. I use a lot of different techniques. I don't just use deep trance hypnosis. I use waking hypnosis. I use NLP, neuro-linguistic patterns. I use EFT, emotional freedom techniques. I use tapping. And so I use all these different techniques to layer in to release negativity and energy and program positivity. And that's the success of the programs, is I'm tackling it from so many different experts and concepts. But you're the one that drives it. You have to want the change to occur. Don't let that go.
You have to be open to it. And
so that's essentially for my change work. That's what I do. I also do some specialty stuff. Stop smoking. So stop smoking is a one-session deal. If you're ready to stop smoking, you come in, one appointment, you're done. 90% success rate, no follow-up appointments. But it comes with lifetime guarantee. So if you need to come back, I do additional sessions at no additional cost. And the funny thing with the smoking is, by the time the people get to me, they've already done the patch, the gum, the pills that make you go batty, and now they're going to give the witch doctor a try. And most of the people, it's right away. But then I have people call me 6 months later. It's like, Brian, I need another session. I'm like, what happened? You're like, well, I didn't want to have a cigarette. That's not an issue. I got in a fight at home. I got an issue at work. Stress is the number one cause to keep people smoking. And so just being in a hypnotic state will help calm and relax that. So I have some audio programs that I give people access to. Insomnia, stress, confidence, weight loss, and whatnot. And also have that available on my website if you just want to try what hypnosis is and not, it's me with my recordings, and people find that very beneficial.
Very soothing. Yeah. I use them in between the sessions I had with you, right before bed, because I was having trouble with sleeping, and I found that listening to your videos like really got me into this nice, peaceful vibe right before going to bed. And
that's a great time to listen, especially after you've done hypnosis live. Listening to the audio makes more sense to people versus if you just listen to it off of YouTube or you listen to a hypnosis audio program. Yes, it can work if you're into it. But once you do it live and you understand the process, you understand that it's you that relaxes and allow the suggestions to go in. You don't have to sit there and go, am I hypnotized? How come I still hear him?
Right.
That's not it.
Right. And it's that process that you take us on right before, like that hour before, where you taught me how to do the tapping, and that's helped me a lot. And I never knew anything about EFT and the tapping. And after that, so I left with so much knowledge of so many different ways to be able to kind of channel that part of myself, and it was really cool. I did so much research after I left that first session with you. I was like, I have never heard of tapping
it's like,
before.
wait a minute, this is real. And people look at me during the session. They're like, who is this nut? And why am I tapping on my eyebrow?
Yeah. And I taught my mom about tapping, and it was like, oh my goodness. Yeah. And so now
There's so much stuff
do
out there on that.
When I feel like stressed out, it really is about just managing and regulating yourself and managing that stress so that it doesn't, become something bigger, and this is energy that you're holding on to. Thank you so much, Brian, for your time, and
thanks for having me.
For your guidance, the 3 sessions with me, and I look forward to maybe doing 3 more sessions with you sometime.
All right, yeah, or you don't even have to do 3. You can come up for a refresher, tune up, just do a live, deep stress, and whatnot, and I guess I'll give you a discount. I always got different package deals. You
do.
I get it.
Thank you so much, Brian. I will have your info linked at the end of this episode so that everybody knows how to reach out to you.
Great.
And I look forward to seeing you soon.
All right. Nice to see you. And anything I can do for you, just reach out to me.
Will do. Thank you so much, Brian.
Have a great day. And congratulations on your podcast.
Thank you.
You take care.